This video, we're looking at the levels of leadership, and we want to be developing our leaders, and we want to be able to reach an entire segment, an entire district, an entire state, and develop leaders who can do the same. So if we look at this levels of leadership, we see a seed sower. This is an evangelist, somebody who shares the gospel. They proclaim the gospel in the whole area. They reach their own people. They're reaching their friends and family, and they can use gospel tools like they can share their testimony or the hand gospel or Roman road, and they can model the evangelism for others. So we have the evangelist and a vision for the lost, a passion for the lost, seed sower. Then we have the church planter, and they're also able to do evangelism, but they're able to do evangelism. They're able to do discipleship, train others in discipleship, and they know in the functions of a healthy church with baptism, Lord's Supper, and they can identify leaders. And so this is the church planter. Now, the next leadership is church multiplier. They're not just planting a church, but they've planted multiplying churches, different generations of churches, and they have a vision to equip and send and have leaders multiply their churches in second, third generation or beyond. And so they're modeling the abiding and the 6 parts of the core missionary task. Next level is trainer. Now, the trainer is leading a whole network of people, not just their own church network, but the whole network of others, training leaders to become from seed sowers and practicing discipleship, church planting, church multiplier. So they have this ability to cast vision in the networks to see the whole network growing and see church multipliers raised up. And the next level is the strategist. They're doing whatever it takes. They're looking to see how many networks are there in my segment, in my district. Are there 15 networks? How do we get them all equipped with trainers who can develop seed sowers into church planters, into church multipliers, into trainers? And they can train and develop at all levels, and they have this vision. So we are looking at these 5 levels of leadership. I want to think of this levels of leadership using an illustration from karate, because you understand that in karate there's a belt system, and you advance, there's some lower belts, intermediate belts, and advanced belt, and the most advanced belt being the black belt. These belts are based on the skill of the practitioner. So if seed sower would be like a lower level, entry level beginner, church planter would be like the intermediate level belts, and a church multiplier would be like the advanced level, and all the way up to a black belt if they had the skills to be a church multiplier. Now, after a karate practitioner reaches their black belt, there is still 9 more levels in karate, all the way up to a 9th degree black belt. But after they reach a black belt, they're really not advancing on their skills. They still need to have skills. They still need to develop their skills as a karate practitioner. But the advanced levels are more focusing on what are they doing to contribute to others learning the sport. Are they opening their own school? Well, they may be a trainer. Or are they opening a network of schools, or helping coach others to start schools, or a whole family of schools? And one of the karate practitioners I know, they had 7,000 black belts promoted under their tutoring. Well, they're a strategist. I mean, in this illustration, they've contributed to the sport. That's how you began to continue to develop. So these last two levels, trainer and strategist, aren't as much about the skills of the individual, but how they're raising up other leaders. Now, all the way through, even church multiplier, we don't have to put a solid line at the end. If they're a church multiplier, it begins to shade at the beginning of being a church multiplier, where they're developing others, where at the end of that, it's really focused on the skills of others and how they're raising up others. But this is a level of leadership to help us try to understand how we're taking the new believer and putting them all the way to somebody who has a vision, like the Apostle Paul, raising up Timothy's, who are raising up other faithful ones who will teach others also. So we use this level of leadership to help you think about developing your leaders.